Thanks for joining us. We're going to go through some goals here. So I'm going to, we're doing this accelerator program. So I'm going to tailor a little bit this towards kind of a business idea, but you can apply goals to anything in life. And this is a interesting topic because most people don't have clear goals and they end up just kind of going through life getting washed around, or they end up living somebody else's goals. It's my belief, if you don't have your own goals, you're helping other people support their goals. That's kind of how life happens. And as we think about our lives career-wise, most of the time, if you're working for somebody else, they've set the goals and you're trying to working to help them accomplish those goals. And then when you move to retirement, you now have the opportunity to kind of make your own goals. And for some people, that's hard because somebody was always making those for them. So they don't really know how to do that. At the same time, goals can be applied to big things and little things. And there's some fundamentals that apply to all of them and are really helpful to kind of grasp no matter what age you are as you go along. All right, I think, am I spotlighted? Let's check. I'm spotlighted, good. All right, let's jump into this. So we're going to talk about, what is that slide? All right, we're going to talk about understanding the value of goals, smart and wise goals, strategies to set and achieve your goals. All right, smart thing you probably heard about before. Goals are so important. Without a goal, you don't have direction. We tend to be floating, right? A goal is really setting a target to shoot for. That's what the goal is. And it could be anything from losing weight to starting a business, to fixing a relationship, to saving money, to traveling somewhere. I mean, there's all kinds of goals. But again, without that target, you just kind of float. You just hope things happen. Hope is not a good strategy. Hope is not really powerful in that sense without a clear goal or plan. So a goal gives you something to look forward to. I must have opened the wrong, I think I got my wrong slides. Give me a second to grab the right slides. I was changing these right before class, so I apologize for that. I've got lots of versions of this class, and
I actually liked the slide with all those, what were they, small mini squares? Was that like a collage of squares?
what was it?
I don't know. Right, I think the slide before that one.
That one.
Oh, that was nice.
You like that? Okay.
Yeah, because it gives you like all the different ideas that people can think about in terms of goals.
Right, yeah.
Or either resolutions or something.
Yes, that was kind of a resolution type class I was doing there.
Okay, got it.
This is not coming up. Well, I'm going to go with best I can here. I don't know where the one I just made is. One more try. This is the right title, right? We're on the right title now. That's a good sign. All right, here we go. No, I think I already pulled this one up. Goodness sakes. I apologize. This is not like me to have the wrong slide deck. But I want to show you the right one. I think I've still got it. Let's see. I'm going to get this. Does anybody have a goal they're working on right now that they'd share with us? A goal they're working on right now?
I am.
What is it?
I am working on a presentation for how to set goals in 2022.
You're doing your own?
Yes.
All right. Well, I didn't start out very good for this one for you to copy anything from, but you can feel free to copy.
You gave me confidence, Kevin.
Yeah. Even I have struggles sometimes that I have to
exactly.
Right?
So I'm gonna. So this gave me confidence. I'm doing it on Sunday, and I'm working on the presentation.
Okay. All right. I'm pretty confident this one's it. We're going to do this time. Just change it to a different name. Okay. So who are you presenting it to?
I'm sorry.
Who are you presenting to?
Well, I posted it on Eventbrite, so I'm hoping that folks sign up for it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Here's why most goals fail. 80% of New Year's resolutions fail after February. So a lot of goals fail. So there's a reason why. And these are 4 of the big reasons. They lack clarity and focus, right? They said, I'm going to lose weight. That's not really specific enough. They lack a plan. There's no kind of plan to get there. It's just a hope. They're like, they want to rub the genie bottle and hope it happens. That's not really a goal. They lack effort. There's people that say, well, I want this to happen, but I don't want to put any effort into it. Well, that's not going to ever come about either. And lack of accountability. We tend to do better if we put ourselves out there and get on the hook for something, and we have somebody help. We have people cheering for us. Now, I know we have people, there's 2 kinds of people in our lives. There's helpers and haters. And there's enough haters out there that they're the ones that pick on you. Like, oh, I noticed you fell off the diet wagon based on what you're eating tonight. Like, those are not the people you want around you encouraging you. They're the ones that kind of take joy in seeing you not succeed. But hopefully you have supporters in your life that can support you and encourage you and not be demotivating. All right, here, this is a real big piece right here. I think that if you know me at all, I try to simplify the complex and make things simple. These, I think, are the essential pieces of a goal. There's, first of all, a desired outcome. This is what you want to accomplish. You have some clarity about what that is, right? If it's not clear, I mean, how are you ever going to know you even accomplished it if you don't know what it is? So you have to have a desired outcome. And that's the what. What is it that you want to outcome? There's a method of how you're going to do it. That's the plan. And this sometimes is missing in the whole goal component for people. They have a desired outcome and they're really motivated, but they have no plan to get there. And then the third one is the motivation. This is the why. Why are these 3 so important in this? Because without a clear desired outcome, you don't really know where you're going, right? And without a specific method or a way to do it, it's not going to happen by itself. Nothing happens automatically. You're hoping for chance. And without motivation, you will give up when it gets hard and you will not push through, even if you have the method or the desired outcome. When you think about this, though, you may have 2 of the 3, but the chances of you accomplishing that goal are really slim, which is 2 out of 3. I really believe you need to have all 3 of these. If one of them is missing, the chances of the goal being accomplished are slim. Looking at these 3, who would share what is the area that they tend to struggle the most with? Which of the 3 is the hardest for them? Just unmute yourself and share with us. There's no right or wrong answer.
For me, it's
This is
the
Ida. Say motivation.
Item motivation would be your hard. Okay. Do you start out motivated or do you struggle with that motivation at all?
Well, I started out kind of motivated, but then I realized that action, really, you need to take action and motivation will come. But I don't take the action step. I take one action step and then I kind of, something else gets my attention and I'm just kind of get all scattered.
Yes, right. Yeah, so that's a good point. Distractions kill motivation. That's one of the biggest killers of our motivation is distraction. We think there's something else we should be doing, or there's another good idea. I got another good idea. I got another desired outcome. And we're good at coming up with ideas, but we're really bad at the execution part of like following through. So distractions kill motivation. Good point.
I don't lack motivation, but my method, like I was trying to sort out a lot of my paperwork, preparing for the taxes. And I had lots and lots of folders and I wanted to consolidate. Next thing you know, I've got more envelopes and this and that. I literally took a mini vacation with my friend to a hotel, spread out all my paperwork on the extra bed. And that's how I did that this weekend. I just needed to get out of the house, bring everything in a luggage and just sorted everything. And I feel clutter-free and organized. But I mean, my method was crazy.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that sabotages a lot of people's goals. I call it disorganization, right? It's the disorganization of a method, or it's not always some people it's a lack of a method at all, but some people like, oh, I got a method, but my method is so crazy. It just, I'm just spinning my wheels. I'm just like not making any traction at all. And this is like, I can never see this going anywhere. I'm not getting anywhere closer to my desired outcome. So you give up. So good for you for kind of saying, hey, let's do something different. Go to the hotel, put away the distractions, and really just knock this out. You finally got organized and got it done. Good for you.
Got it done.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Herlina. I want to tell her, I applaud her. I have to do the same thing every year to get my taxes done. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. I got a week that I take everything. I load up the car, and they were like, why are you doing that? Because I can't get it done in my house. I can't explain it, but I come back and it's done. But my problem is, and I don't know how many women on here, but I'm trying to lose weight. It's just, I don't know if it's an over 50, 60 thing, but it's just bad. It's horrible. And I know how to do it. I did 25 years in the military and I had to keep my weight down. But I think I'm just too relaxed because I'm retired now. But anyway, that's just one of the things. That's the major thing that's bothering me now. And then I'm multitask. Yeah. And so I'm just trying to get a little bit more organized because I got a whole lot of things on my plate. I'm going to school. It's just a lot. So anyway, that's Herlina and I'm out.
No, thanks for sharing that, Helena. So two of you mentioned taxes. One of the good things about why do people get their taxes done? Because there's a deadline and there's a penalty. And that makes it really clear. You have to fill out these forms and you have to turn them into this address, or you have to send them in by e-file by this date. And or there's a penalty. So with that comes a desired outcome. I want to get it done. You're motivated not to be late, whether you're getting a return or you're going to get penalized for being late to make a payment. All of that makes that goal accomplished, right? Whether you like, it's not something we like to do, but we have to do it. So it has some of these components baked in. You mentioned weight. It sounds like you're the typical situation where it's not a lack of clarity. I know I want to lose 10 pounds or whatever the number is. That's clear. And maybe you haven't put a date on it yet, but you have a desired outcome and you know how to do it. It's a combination of input and output of exercise, activity, and as diet. So really, most people, it comes down to motivation. They're really not that motivated to do the work to do that because we make time for what's the most important for us. So that's a common thing, but that plays well into this. Anybody else share on this before we keep going?
I think mine would be motivation too, because I get distracted because I tend to want to make it perfect. Yes. And trying to make it perfect. And I say, that doesn't work. And, and I keep doing it and then I get overwhelmed and then I'm like, forget it. Because I've been putting this workshop off, I don't know, about a month now, but I decided it's time to get it done.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you have a deadline because you set the date for the event and that helps you. Yeah. One of the tricks of motivation is to create deadlines for ourselves or have dates that we'd want to hit there. It's really, really important on that to do. But yeah, distractions will kill us on the motivation side because there's always something else to steal our time away. All right, good. Thanks for sharing all of that. So I want to walk you through some of the ideas that go around how to actually do this. Goal setting is simply kind of knowing where you are and having a desired outcome of where you want to be. And the way to get there is not always clear, but you have to know both where you are and where you want to be. Think about the GPS system in your car, or if you use Waze or Google Maps or Apple Maps, it uses the GPS on your phone. It knows where you are, and you put an address in there, and it'll tell you how to get there. Right? It gives you the plan to do that. But if you don't put an address in there where you want to go, it can't help you at all. So that's why the desired outcome is so important in your goal setting. You know exactly where it is. You can't say, I live in Florida and I can't say, I want to go to Canada. Like, okay, my goal is to go to Canada. Well, what part of Canada? Canada is huge. What part of Canada? Well, I got to pick an address. Like, I want to go to the Canadian side of Niagara Falls. Okay, now I've got a specific place I can go. Okay, now I got to say, okay, how am I going to get there? well, am I going to walk? Am I going to ride my bike? Am I going to get an Uber? Am I going to fly, take a train, right? And then I have to do all the plan. And then I have to do the effort of actually doing all those things, or otherwise I won't get there. So these are practically knowing where you are and where you want to be is the starting point of that, and having clarity on it is important. So we're going to talk about your roadmap to success using these goals. One of the things I think helps free us up a little bit is understanding that we can't do everything. Hopefully you've learned that already. We think we can do everything. We try to keep adding more and more and more and more to it. And even if you're adding good things to your plate of responsibility or calendar, at some point you reach a place where you cannot do any more. And it helps to understand that sometimes a goal should be something we stop doing. Maybe we're eating too much sugar or watching too much TV, or doing something that's hurting us. We need to stop doing that. Okay, that's a good goal because it's going to free up us to do other things if we get rid of that. There's some things we need to keep doing. Some things that you're doing that are good for you, you need to set a goal to keep doing them. Otherwise, you'll stop doing them because they cease to be a priority over time, and something else comes in and takes over and you stop doing it. Some people got in really good shape during the pandemic because they focused a lot on their health and they were able to do some good things. And now that things are getting a little bit back to normal, they've kind of given up on those things and they're going back to old ways, and that's not good. So keep doing. But with most goals that people have are new things that they want to create. And these are things they want to start doing. Like, I want to start walking 15 minutes 3 times a week, or I want to start eating more plant-based food, something like that. And the big mistake they make, these are all good things. The big mistake they make is they forget to take something off of their calendar to make room for the new thing that they're doing. They think as they can just add on to what they're already doing, something they've not been doing, and that they think it's going to work. Now, if you've not been doing it and you think you're going to fit it into your already busy schedule, you're mistaken. It's just not going to happen. You have to make room for it. So example again would be the exercise thing. If you've never been exercising, why do you think you're just all of a sudden going to start exercising? You've got to schedule that and make a plan for it and protect that time so that nothing else competes with that. In some cases, stop doing other things to do that. So understanding this and giving yourself the understanding that there needs to be enough margin in your life to be able to start doing something new, because if you don't have time for it, it won't get done. All right, you can apply this to all these different areas of life: physical, mental, relational, career, financial, recreation, spiritual, whatever you want. You could pick a category. I wouldn't recommend trying to set a goal for every one of them. That's overwhelming. I think if you're just getting going on goal setting, start with some small goals that you can win and have some success on, and keep building on that. You can have multiple goals at one time, but if you have too many, you'll get too discouraged and you'll give up on them. Okay. So, examples: physically, lose 10 pounds, exercise 3 times a week, mentally read a book a month, relationally, spend time with family. Career-wise, you can network with a new person, read a book, start a side hustle, pay off debt, save money, run a race, walk 3 times a week. Any of these could be things you're thinking about doing. You've probably heard of SMART goals. Let me walk you through the SMART goals. I've got 2 versions of this: a SMART goal and a WISE goal. This is how you really create your desired outcome. You are specific. That stands for specific. It's something that you specifically can articulate and understand. M is it's measurable, meaning that there's a way to track this. We all like dashboards. We all like to know where we are. If you're going from where you are to where you want to be, it's nice to know if you're making any progress or not. So if it's measurable, that helps. And some things are easier to measure than others. Losing weight, obviously, you can measure by getting on a scale. Activity, you can measure by doing it or not doing it. Some things are a little bit more hard, a little more difficult to measure, but you want to be able to measure it. Is it achievable? Is this something that you can put a plan together and accomplish? I can't make myself fly. I mean, that could be a goal, but I can't make myself fly. I'm not going to figure out a way to do that. It's just not achievable. Is it realistic? Is it something that is relevant to you right now? Is it something that you would like to do now? I had goals when I was younger and I have goals that I have now, and my goals change, right? As we age, as we go through life, we have different goals. Is it realistic for something for me to do right now? And then it's time bound. You put a time frame on it. We do better if we have a deadline. Don't just leave it, I want to do this before I die. That's a bucket list. That's not really a goal. That's a bucket list. But at some point you translate a bucket list into a goal and you put a time frame on it and you make it happen. That's the difference between a goal and a bucket list. So a time frame is time bound. Or if you say it another way, It's specific. What do you want to do? Measurable. How can you track that progress? Is it achievable? How will you do it? That's the plan. Is it relevant to your life right now? And when do you want to do it? Now, let me give you some examples of not SMART goals. These are not SMART goals. Okay. I want to lose weight. Why is that not a SMART goal?
Not specific.
Yeah, right. I want to lose weight. Like, well, how much weight, right? Like, how much weight? An ounce? Is that, oh, I accomplished my goal. We all know our body weight fluctuates every single day because of water and salt intake. It fluctuates 2, 3, 4 pounds just in our diet. It's not real true weight gain or weight loss necessarily. It's just a fluctuation of it. So having a specific amount. So next one, I want to lose 10 pounds. That's a little more specific, but what's it lacking?
Time frame.
Yeah, we'll lose 10 pounds before you die. Okay, that's a really great goal. I mean, or is it you want to lose 10 pounds before your summer vacation, right? You put a time frame on it, okay? Because the time frame dictates the plan to get it done. I want to be healthy. Well, that sounds nice, but again, it's not. How do you even measure that? Like, what measures your health? It's lacking time and specificity in that. I want my body to look like it did when I was 24.
Don't we all?
Unrealistic.
Unrealistic, yes. I mean, I guess we could do a lot of surgery and do something like that, but that's really not probably what you're after. It's not realistic in that sense. All right, so here's an over-the-top SMART goal. If you take this and I really actually worked in some of the plan into it as well. I will stop eating desserts at night and exercise 15 minutes per day, at least 3 times a week, so that I will lose on average 1 pound a week for a total of 10 total pounds by April 15th, 2022. So the desired outcome is lose 10 pounds by April 15th, right? But in here, I put in some of the plan as well. Some of the plan is I'm going to stop eating desserts at night. Now, one of the things we do that really sabotages ourselves with goals is we have these overly aggressive goal steps to get there. Like if you would say, I'm going to stop eating all desserts until April 15th, and you love desserts like I do, like it's not going to happen. And then you're like, oh, I failed. So the goal's over. So instead of trying to say, I'm going to not eat desserts at all, I'm just going to stop eating desserts at night, right? So I could have desserts in the daytime, but I just can't have them at night. I'm going to exercise 15 minutes a day. So, well, Kevin, is 15 minutes mean anything? If you've been doing 0 minutes a day, 15 minutes is a big step. So
Yeah,
start small, start small. And I didn't say every day of the week because you can't go from 0 to 7 days a week and think you're going to make it, right? It's not going to happen. I always am amused after Christmas and the New Year, all the people with their new sweatsuits and running shoes and headphones on out in the neighborhood, running and walking, like they're turning over the new leaf. They've not exercised the whole year, but now they got some new gear and they're out there and they're completely overdoing it. They're like doing way too much time out there. And the next 2 or 3 days, they're just an absolute pain because their muscles are screaming at them, saying, what did you just do? You just way overdid this. This is too painful. And they're like, I can't do this. This is way too painful because they overdid it. They didn't ease into it and they self-sabotage themselves on that. So take small steps to get going. All right. A pound a week, that's realistic. Don't do this crash diet where you're gonna lose 10 pounds in a week and hurt yourself. That's not good. So that's it. So this is a good SMART goal with a little bit of a plan built into it as an example. All right. So this is my version of a SMART goal. I call it a WISE goal. It's winnable, meaning you can do it. You can picture what the win is. I love sports. I love winning. I love games. What's great about a game is at the end of it, there's a specific time frame when you start it and when you end it, and while you're playing and when you're done if you've won or lost. So is this something that's winnable? Can you do it? Right? Is it interesting? Do you really care about this? I remember when I was in sales, I'd have sales managers give me quotas of goals that I didn't care about. Those were his goals or her goals. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't need to sell that much. I don't need that much. Those are your goals. I'm not interested in that. No, thanks. So if it's not something you really care about, you're not going to do it, right? That's it. I've heard people say, well, I really want this, I really want this. Well, what have you done about it? I've done nothing. I said, you don't really want it then. Because if you really want it, you have a desire to do it. You're interested. If you really want to do it, you'll stay engaged with it. Is it shareable? Can you describe it to somebody else? Again, if you can't explain it to yourself or somebody else, it's not clear what it is. It's too vague. And sharing it with somebody else also puts you on the hook because now you've got somebody else to encourage you and you don't want to let down. It's pretty easy to let ourselves down if it's a secret what our goal is. But if we let other people know about it, we feel a little more obligation to kind of pursue that goal and keep on it. Don't be afraid to share it. go public with it, right? Evaluate, can you document, can you track it? Can you see where you are? That's that. So this is all about just making progress. Are you making progress as you go along in there? Okay, so what does it look like once you win or accomplish the goal, the end result? So when you think about this, picture the end in mind. I use the example, let's say you want to lose 10 pounds before you go on your family beach vacation this summer, and you picture yourself standing at the beach, barefoot with the water on the ocean coming up on your toes, and you've got your new sun hat on and your beautiful new swimsuit, and you're feeling great because you lost 15 pounds, not just 10, and your family and friends around you, and you're feeling great, and life has never been better. And you're like, okay, that's the win. That's what I'm working towards, right? You visualize what that is, the end desired outcome, and you pursue that. I had a lady in class a year or so ago say, you know, she said, I kind of did that in the reverse way. She goes, I saw a picture somebody took of me. She said, like, she was in the background, but it was like the back of her at some Christmas party. And it was so appalling to her what she looked like that she took that picture and she put it up on her mirror. And that was her motivation to keep working, so she didn't look like that anymore. She had this, like, I don't want this anymore, so I'm motivating myself to get back in shape or lose the weight. So what, you know, I take the more positive approach, like picture the win of the good outcome. Don't focus on the negative, but the win is kind of knowing what the desired outcome. Why is the goal important to you and interesting? Can you explain this to somebody else, and how can you track that as you go along? All right. Any comments, questions yet? I want to get into this puzzle analogy and apply this not to just personal, but to work as well. Any questions, comments yet on these goals? All right. Okay. I told you I like games. A puzzle is kind of like a game. So in a puzzle box, you have a number of pieces. Could be 100, 1,000, whatever pieces you have, of all the components that go into a finished outcome, which would be whatever is on the cover of that puzzle box is what you know you're working on to accomplish. That's the value of knowing what the finished result is, because you know what you're working towards. So your goal needs to know what it is you're working towards. Now, when it comes to puzzles, I like kittens, but I'm really allergic to cats. So I would typically never want to do a puzzle that had a cat on it, because I would feel like I'd get allergic, even though they're not real. So we typically want to do puzzles or goals that we're interested in. That's the point there. And so you take a puzzle and you start doing, and here's some of how I compare goals and puzzles to be very similar. One, you commit to solve the puzzle. So you have the goal. It's clear. You know what it looks like. You have in mind what it looks like, what you're going for. Okay. And next thing you do is you take out all the pieces of the box and you pull it all out and say, this is what I'm working with. So for a goal, you need to have the components necessary to do what it is you're doing. You may not already have them. You may have to go get them. You may have to set additional goals to get the pieces necessary to accomplish the big goal. But you take all the pieces out and you lay them out and you lay them all face up so you know what you have. And the first thing you do is you establish your borders. You say, okay, these are the edge pieces, these are the straight pieces, and these are the corner pieces, the 4 corner pieces, and you kind of do the border of your puzzle. Is that how you guys do puzzles too? You guys do it the same way? Okay. All right. Deborah says yes.
Yeah.
Lindsay,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, good. I don't want to be way out in left field. I think this is how most people do the puzzles. It's a good strategy. So you have the borders, and you need to have that on your goals as well. But instead of calling it a border, I would call it a boundary, because you need boundaries to accomplish your goals. Boundaries are what allow you to say yes to things and no to things based on how they fit into the value of what you're doing. Because without boundaries, you get distracted and you start picking up other things. You start doing other things, or you remain completely disorganized. If you never did the border of a puzzle and you just try to put pieces together, it would take forever. It would really take a really long time if there was no structure at all whatsoever. So this is the step where you kind of start having some structure to your plan so that you can accomplish that goal. You have borders. So what does it look like? Well, maybe you're trying to lose weight and you know that you love chips or carbohydrates. So one of the boundaries would be like, stop buying chips in your house. You cannot eat chips if there's no chips in the house. That's one thing, right? Stop. Don't let your friends bring them over. Don't go buy them yourself. Don't go to your friend's house where they are, right? Don't let yourself cheat. Just Put away all the things the cheating. Stop the cheating on that. So that's what borders and boundaries. It may involve affect who you hang around. You may have to get some distance from some people that will distract you from your goal, or that will discourage you from your goal. That may require that. Okay, some of it's self-discipline, some of it is managing the situation the best you can so that you have boundaries and borders so that you can accomplish your plan. Then you divide and conquer, right? This is a really important step. This is when if you're not slightly overwhelmed by your goal is really not that great of a goal. The reason you need a goal is because this is hard to do. If it was easy, you would have already done it, but you have goals for things that are harder to do. And one of the ways to accomplish anything big is to break it into smaller pieces. Nancy, who is it? Nancy put in the chat here about setting small goals. Yeah. So even within this big puzzle, you start breaking it down into smaller little puzzles, right? So you grab all the flowers and you put those together, and you put all the sky pieces together, and you put all the pieces of the little ducks together, and you start kind of making little puzzles of those. And over time, you have a cluster of different connections of pieces, and they can start fitting together into the bigger piece. And so it's kind of a divide and conquer, break it into smaller pieces. And there's nothing wrong with having a overarching goal that's made up of many, many smaller goals that have to be accomplished in the process of time to work towards accomplishing the bigger goal, right? That's kind of how you make a plan. And then doing the work over time. If you're doing a 200 plus size puzzle, you're probably not going to do it in one setting. You're probably going to get started on it. You're going to get the pieces out. You might do the four corners and have the border done in one setting. And you leave it there, and then you come back, right? We get so impatient and think we're going to do it all at once. And when we don't, we give up on it and say, it's too hard. It's not worth it. I'm going to do something else. And we literally leave life as cluttered with these unfinished puzzles all around the place. And it's very discouraging. But if you can give yourself the freedom to go and apply effort over time and keep working at it over time, you will accomplish the goal by doing all the things you need to do to accomplish it. And then you get to celebrate the reward at the end. You have this finished puzzle. And there's people that will frame their puzzles. There's people that have made shirts and blankets out of their puzzles. I mean, they've done all kinds of things. For me, I just crumble it all back up and put it in the box and put it away and go get another puzzle. That's kind of how I like to do it. Like, good, I got that one done. Let's go do another one. I have the thrill of finishing something and going on to something else. So goals, there should be many goals. They can be small. If you combine them together and arrange them in such a way that you are accomplishing a bigger goal, then you're really making progress. So a big goal has lots of little small pieces going along with it. All right, any thoughts on the puzzle example here?
You just gave me strategies.
Good. You got some strategy ideas. Good. All right. So let's look at this from those of you that have an accelerator program. So think about this if you're trying to start a small business or a side hustle or start something. You can apply this to anything, but I'm going to apply it specifically kind of a business goal type thing here. What are the big pieces in your business goals? Like if you think big pieces first, what would you put in there? I'll give you an example. So like there's probably going to be a marketing goal, right? There's some goal that you need to do for marketing. What else would be in there?
Technology goal. I need to learn some tech things.
Okay. All right. Need to learn some technology. Okay. That's another one. You could have a funding goal. Stella, what do you think?
Promotional goals.
Promotional goals. Yeah. You have some promotional goals, right? I mean, starting a business or a small business there's a lot of components to this. There's a lot of pieces to it. And so you don't get overwhelmed. You think, okay, what are the big pieces first?
Yeah.
Hiring somebody.
Yeah, you might have to get some staff. You might have to hire somebody. Leslie said product, storefront, customer touch points, a business plan. Sure, right?
There's also your branding, how you want to put yourself out there.
Yes.
So you've got to be, a perfect goal really, because that's how you're represented, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Your branding and your branding. Yes, absolutely. And if you think about all these things, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. How would I ever do all of these things? Well, you don't do them all at once. You can't do them all at once. As a solopreneur, somebody doing it by yourself, especially, it could be overwhelming. How do you use goals to help you get this done? If you think then the bigger picture is, I want to get this business up and going, or I want to, my goal is to sell more than I've been selling, right? If that's your big goal, then you work backwards from there and say, what are the things that I need? What are the wins I need to have that will add up to me getting to that result, right? You work yourself backwards from there, and you break these down into smaller pieces. So let's assume let's take the branding example, right? So you need to have maybe you don't have a logo yet. You don't have any social media set up for any of that right now. So you set a goal of a certain time you're going to do that, and you put that on you calendar it so that you're going to do it. I'm big on scheduling tasks so that they get done. You don't just make a list of tasks. You put them on a certain date that you're going to do them. And that becomes then the goal. So I look at really every one of my tasks that I have every day as a goal. My goal is to get those tasks done. And I love checking off the done box on it, that it's done. Okay, good. I won that one. It didn't beat me. I got it done. I don't always get things done when I think I'm going to get them done, but I keep them around so I don't lose them. And they remind me I need to get them done, or I decide they're not important any longer. That's the two options. But being able to break things down into smaller bite-sized pieces to accomplish a goal is really the strategic way to do that, so you're not overwhelmed. The business plan itself, those of you that have been in the accelerator program, right? We started off with that, and we started with just a single pitch. What's your elevator pitch of what you're doing? Who are you? Who do you for, and why are you different? And then we expanded that into a business plan, which had some other categories to it, and you need to fill that out. Rather than making you do everything all at once, we do it in small pieces. And so even as we go through the accelerator, we're making progress and all that. Like we started talking about branding today, and we're talking about those kind of things. Yeah. Let's see, Stella, you also said in the notes there, weight loss program, Fitbit, food diary. So this will help me transfer these methods. Yeah, right. Good. So you've got a personal trainer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually did some stuff today, which is why I missed the classes today.
Okay.
I just couldn't change them.
Sure.
And they were the classes I wanted to come, I wanted to watch as well. So I've booked them on for, is it next week? You doing them again?
Yeah, okay. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, so it's just basically, I don't know what I don't know. So once everything was explained to me, it was, and shown, because I'm a visual learner, it slotted into place. So the way you teach and what I'm actually learning is, it's transferable both ways, actually, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great. I mean, having the physical trainer helping with the weight loss and the diet and everything else, that's that accountability part. It's like having somebody else join you in the effort is really helpful. It really keeps you motivated, because they're going to ask you questions, and you know that they're for you, right? These aren't people who are against you. These are people that are for you. There's nothing worse than people against us. But if somebody's for you and they're joining you and helping you accomplish these goals, then you do a little bit better. I think we all do that way. We do better together than we do by ourselves.
Yeah, well, he nearly killed me today with the exercises, because I've never exercised.
He killed you today.
Yeah, I've been just about recovering.
That's funny. That's good. Well, they're pushing you. That's good. They want you to do well.
You can stop.
Any other specific goals that you're working towards? I'd like to, I kind of was high level on this, but we talked a little bit about business. We talked a little bit about weight loss as well. Any other specific ones that maybe you've struggled with or you're struggling with now as a goal wise? And we can talk about some strategies for that.
Kevin, what comes first? Getting your business license and all of that stuff, or getting it set up like on social media, your logo and
I mean, you could do those concurrently. I mean, for me, I would want someone to be really clear about what their business is before they went and got all set up. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's why I didn't start out with that first, like, hey, go sign up for all these things and then we'll figure out what you're going to do. That's
okay.
backwards approach for me. But yeah, I mean, it depends on what your business is. I mean, some things require special licenses to even do them, but if it's more of a service, it depends on the business, right? But what you have to get for that. But we're gonna get into that in this phase of the accelerator, setting up our business. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, you bring a good point. I mean, there's a lot of concurrency going on. There's a lot of stuff you can do at the same time. You know, roughly the same time. I mean, we do best if we're focused on one thing at a time, but we can be working on multiple things at the same time. We're waiting on other people to respond and all of that. So you can be setting up, part of setting up your business is that, you know, it's setting up your marketing tools as well as setting up your business license and all of that. Leslie said she set herself a production deadline by offering it to do a weekly interest group. Yeah, so the deadlines are really good. I mean, are you guys good at setting deadlines for yourself? Do you hold up to them, or do you just go, ah, doesn't anything?
I actually, with my business, with the design, I have to live by deadlines for other people,
Yeah.
but for myself, I'm hopeless. It's crazy.
Well, do you use it to your advantage then, right? So that you get stuff done. You realize that it helps you keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really sort of behind with a lot of the stuff on the program, but you know, I've got to again I've got to set goals to get them done. So I'm halfway through quite a few bits, but I'm not actually there, you know. So I am struggling a bit, but again, because I've got deadlines I've got to meet for other people. So I've put myself on the back burner.
Yeah. 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 Balancing all of the things of life affect our goals a lot, right? And that we have to prioritize what we're going to spend our time on.
Kevin, can you put that bullseye back on there? I like that bullseye.
Wait, this one?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you're so encouraging on my graphics things.
But you know, you just finished teaching us that graphics and just short statements or words, that says the message right there. It's not too wordy. It's right to the point.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Right. Thanks for noticing. Yeah. I try to
well,
practice.
That's what I got to work on. I got to work on that. I'm too wordy. Even on my PowerPoint slides. You know what I'm saying? So this gives me an idea at least.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin, where do you get those graphics from?
Where do I get the graphics from? Yeah, I have a plugin on my Google Slides that's free that gives me free icons, and I think it's called Flat Icon. If you go to flaticon.com, you can go to that site. I think they have free icons you can use.
What is it called?
Flat, FLATICON, Flat Icon.
Oh, okay. Flat Icon. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody else?
I was just going to say, Kevin, the lady before said she's too wordy. I'm exactly opposite because of what I do. I hate words. I hate them with a passion. So if you ask me to draw you a picture, I'll do it in my sleep. Yeah. But and that's where I struggle. That's where I have been struggling, you see, because it's got to be perfect, because, you know, it's that sort of like a lot of people who've mentioned it before, you want things to be right and you want things to be perfect. So the amount of pieces of paper I've ripped up with words on because they just don't look right. But I could do a storyboard, but it's not what I need to do. I need the words. So I've got to get a bit of a compromise, I think so.
Yeah.
You might just get 1 or 2 sentences on me business plan.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, everybody's a little different. Some people are more wordy, some are more visual. It's not good or bad. We're just different in that, but we can work to kind of do a little bit of both, for sure. All right, let me jump back to this other slide here. All right, kind of a summary here. Creating smart and wise goals. Yeah, probably the biggest mistake people make with their goals is they're just not specific enough, right? They don't put a time frame on it and it's not specific. So just try to get as specific as you can with it, and that'll make it better. Share your goals with other people. I think that's really helpful. That builds accountability. That's like having the personal trainer or physical therapist, or somebody that you're gonna do it with. They're gonna help you. Do the plan of action. Without that plan, without the method to get it done, it's not going to happen. You have to have some kind of plan of action to do this, and that requires making time for it. You can't say, I'll get around to it when I get around to it. You won't get around to it. It just doesn't happen, right? There's not enough time in the day. So if you don't put it on the calendar, put it on the schedule, then it may not happen. This one, several of you mentioned this, and I talked about tracking things. What you want to track is progress. You're looking for progress, not perfection. If you keep looking for perfection, you will be defeated over and over and over again. We're not perfect. We're not perfect. We're not going to do a perfect job on this. And if it's something new, I often say the first time you do something is the worst time you're going to do it, because you've never done it before. Why would you expect it to be good at it? So you've got to have enough patience and grace to give to yourself so that you realize you're making progress, not perfection. This is often seen in losing weight. I mean, it makes no sense to weigh yourself every day. That is insanity. You're just going to wear yourself out, because it's up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But if you do a weekly weigh-in and you see that it's trending after several weeks going down, then you're okay, even if it's a little bit. We're talking about progress, not perfection. Perfection will keep us from being effective, because we're not going to be perfect. Accountability, having people that care for us and support us and letting them know, involving them in the process is helpful. And that's, even the accelerator program, right? I give you these weekly assignments. You wouldn't do those if I didn't ask you to do them and there wasn't something worthwhile at the end for it. So that accountability helps you do a little bit more to kind of position you to be more successful. And then the sixth one is so important, because people don't do this. They often just keep going on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And they've got this adrenaline rush to just keep aspiring, but they never celebrate or enjoy the win. They never really reap the benefit of accomplishing the goal. And I mean, that's why you do it, because you had some goal and you want to give yourself credit for that. So reward yourself. Everyone's motivated a little bit different. Some people are rewarded by how other people look at them. Some people are rewarded more by money. Some people are rewarded more by avoiding punishment. I mean, there's all kinds of different motivations that people have, but knowing yourself well enough to use those motivations to keep you going is a good strategy, so that you can go. But no matter what your motivation is, celebrate your success when you're done. Reward yourself. So some people I know, they'll say, hey, I'm gonna, if I lose this weight, I'll go buy a new dress or a new swimsuit or something, right? Only when I get there can I do that. And if that motivates you, do it. And that's part of your celebration. So that's good. So you don't have to go crazy and hurt yourself, but it's not bad to celebrate and give yourself some credit for doing a good job and accomplishing a goal.